I used to live alone in a small apartment on the top floor of a 3-story building. It wasn't fancy, but it was quiet. At least, that's what I thought. One night, I was watching TV when I heard a faint scraping noise above me. I assumed it was a raccoon or something on the roof, but the sound kept going, like something was shifting. My heart started pounding when I realized there was no access to the roof from my apartment, but there was an attic crawl space. The noise stopped, but I felt uneasy. The next day, I mentioned it to my landlord. He shrugged it off, but when I insisted, he agreed to check. I wasn't home when he did, but he called me later with a shaken voice. "Someone's been living up there," he said. "There's a sleeping bag, food wrappers, even a notebook." I moved out immediately. To this day, I wonder how long they had been up there, watching me. I was moving into a new place and found a cheap couch on Craigslist. The seller was friendly but strange. His messages were oddly urgent, like he was desperate to get rid of it. I met him at his house, which was run down and reeked of mildew. The couch looked fine, but when I sat on it, I felt something hard underneath the cushions. He nervously laughed and said it was just an old frame. I ignored my gut feeling and took it home. That night, I kept hearing faint rustling sounds, like something shifting inside the couch. Eventually, I unzipped the back and found a small hidden compartment. Inside was a plastic bag filled with bones. Human bones. I called the police and they confirmed the remains were real. The worst part? When they tracked the seller down, they discovered he had fled. They never caught him. I was home alone one evening scrolling through my phone when I got a text from my neighbor across the street. "Why is that guy just standing at your window?" My heart stopped. I turned my head slowly, but I didn't see anything. I replied, "What are you talking about?" "He's gone now," they texted back. "He was just staring into your living room a second ago." I ran to check the locks and shut all the blinds. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I found footprints in the snow leading up to my window, then around my house, then back into the woods. I never found out who he was. My girlfriend and I booked an Airbnb for a weekend getaway. It was a nice modern cabin in the woods. Everything seemed fine until the second night. While lying in bed, I noticed a tiny blinking light coming from a smoke detector above us. It seemed off, so I got up and took a closer look. It wasn't a smoke detector at all, it was a hidden camera. I ripped it off the ceiling and my stomach dropped.